Hey there folks, John here from Biddy Kong's Quest, and we are on our way to SEGE again, just like we were last year, just like we did the year before that. And as we did then, we're also going to stop at McKay's. It's a used bookstore in North Carolina. It's a kind of a local chain. There's also one in Nashville. Just an absolutely huge store. Has tons of used books and movies and DVDs and games and all kinds of other stuff. Sometimes you get some good deals here. Sometimes it's just fun to see what they got. So we're going to go see what we've got inside McKay's. And we'll be back in just a minute. All right, so here you can see we've got some Star Wars stuff right as soon as we come in the door. They had some little individual figures, and they sell lots of this stuff kind of individually. My son loves R2-D2, so I got some stuff for him. We got Breath of the Wild figures here, 21 bucks, and it's a cool figure, but I think a little too rich for me. A Kirby amiibo for 20 bucks. Those are all over the place. This Loftwing amiibo, which you could get for like $5 on clearance back when Skyward Sword was out. And some Starlink stuff. I don't know if you remember, Starlink did a crossover with Star Fox, which was pretty sweet. They had the ship here and some other stuff for Starlink too. Had some Famicom games here, nothing great, mostly sports stuff or stuff that I already had. Nothing super noteworthy. There's always going to be a Dragon Ball Z game or two. We also had some Japanese Game Boy games. We're going to see a lot more of this at SEGE, and you know, it wasn't a ton. I did think it was interesting. They had Saga 3, which was it's Final Fantasy Adventure 3, I think, in America. Disney Infinity, you're going to see a little bit more about that later, but it was cool to see a boxed one. Amiibo, and some of them are insanely expensive. Switch games, Game Boy games. I mean, really, whatever you're looking for is going to be here. Look at that 3D or that 2DS XL. That was you know, a really crazy price for that. And then they sell as-is machines for parts. I used to get a lot of stuff here. Sometimes you can still get something that's maybe a good deal, but most of the time it's not very good anymore. DVDs and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's an awesome place. But after that, we headed on down to Greenville. We were, you know, probably about 2.5 hours at this point away, so we hopped in the car and made the long drive down. Took us a little longer than we thought, but hey, we made it to SEGE around 5 o'clock. And here is the first entry into SEGE. As you can see, this place is absolutely massive. It's gargantuan. I don't know if you can see down at the end, not there, but when I look to the right here, it's like got a whole nother convention hall, just full of stuff. There's so much to do here. It was so big. You got a cool Zelda edition Wii U here. There's all kinds of special edition systems all the time. Weird games like this. I know a lot about NES. Never seen that one before. Rally Bike, that one you don't see very often. Hey, you had a Lolo 3 here, just kind of sitting in a cardboard box for 60 bucks. That's not a bad price for a Lolo 3. I actually did see a few on the show floor while I was here. This weird Zelda in this like square box that I had never seen before. I think this is a Japanese box of some kind. But it was kind of cool to see because, you know, I've never seen that stuff. You got your rare Super Nintendo RPGs and things. You got Lufia down there. Mega Man 7 for $219. Maybe this is a hot take, but I think that's actually the worst numbered Mega Man game in my opinion. It's really hard for no reason. Mario & Luigi Partners in Time. You gotta watch out for this one if you ever see it. It's a really common bootleg, and it's hard to tell. This box Chrono Trigger, man, 35 bucks. I very nearly walked away with this, but I do have Chrono Trigger loose in the Japanese version. The Kirby 20th Anniversary Collection, we were kind of on the lookout for this, but we ended up not getting it, but this one was in great shape. My son found this really cool, like, classic Fat Pikachu plushie. We didn't get it because it was way too expensive. It was a limited edition or whatever. But look at these art things, these little shadow boxes, you know, all these custom lamps and things made out of consoles and controllers and all this other stuff. This is one of the reasons you come to a convention like this, because there's all of these independent artists that are doing all these really cool things. You're gonna see more of them later in this video as well. But yeah, man, I mean, there's so much cool stuff. That's like the Sonic Mania Special Edition thing. Oh, Glory of Heracles. That's a game that not a lot of people know about. It's a pretty good DS game, but there was some good DS stuff on this particular table. We did also see a Phantom Hourglass that I almost walked away with. I actually don't have that one, and I've been looking for it. And then Days, the DS Kingdom Hearts, which I don't think is great, but 45 bucks, I'm not sure. But if you've never heard of Prinny, Prinny Can I Really Be the Hero is kind of like a side-scrolling Dark Souls with Disgaea characters. It is hilarious and awesome. Play it if you haven't. Also, King's Knight. Always going to point out King's Knight. I love that game. Chibi Robo for the 3DS that came with an amiibo. Look at that. That's like a Kunio-kun dodgeball brawlers game. I've never seen that one before for the DS. 1943. I'm pulling this out for reference for later. And then a fat DS, again, something I almost walked away with. This is the only model of DS I don't have, but I mean, I don't really need it. I have several DSs just that I picked up at yard sales and stuff. And then I found a table with some Japanese stuff. And again, there was a lot of Japanese stuff at this table. That's actually a really good game. There's a bunch of Game Boy stuff here. Just like a really good Japanese game representation at SEGE this year, like way more than I've ever seen before. This Bonk's Adventure I ended up picking up. You'll see that one again later. And then some TurboGrafx games too. Found one of my absolute favorite ones here for $10. Dragon Spirit, which is one of my, again, favorite shooters anyway, and the TurboGrafx one is the best version. And then this cute little complete in box mappy. I just thought the box was in really good shape. It was fun to see. And then Pinball Quest here I found, and another thing that I've been looking for. So here's the deal. Would you do this one and then just that $5 Thor game there for $8?
Sure, why not? Yeah. You need a bag?
No, it's all right. I'll just throw it in here.
Oh, you said Thor?
Yeah, it's just that one right there.
Can't see him a lot.
No, you're good, man. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Had some other Super Famicom games. Okay, so look at that, $45 for that boxed Rockman 7. Compare that against the Mega Man 7 we saw earlier for $219 loose. Get the Japanese version if you want to play it, because you don't need to know English. Pinball Quest, again, just for reference, we got that last one for $5. That one was $20. And then I'm always going to point out Little Nemo the Dream Master, and you'll love to see it. It's been well loved. It's been well played. Everybody should play Little Nemo. Exodus, so this is the only Wisdom Tree game I don't have. I do have a video that I want to do on the history of Wisdom Tree because they're a fascinating company. And then, you know, we've got a box of Famicom and Super Famicom games here, $5 and $6 each. Didn't really matter what they were. They weren't priced, you know, individually. It was just kind of everything was $5, which I thought was really cool. You don't see that a lot with Famicom games, and several of these I already had, so I kind of left this box for the time being, but you may want to remember it. We may be back to this one later. And then Steel Battalion. I actually have a Steel Battalion, interestingly enough. It was a bachelor party gift, but $700 for a box Steel Battalion, I don't doubt that. And this one's Tailgater. This is actually a really great game, great soundtrack, great platformer for the Game Boy. Not enough people know about it, so definitely check that out. We saw a little bit more, but we're gonna head back to the hotel and do the wrap up for day one. So here we go. Okay, so we are back at the hotel after day one. Now, our trip down took a little bit longer than I thought it would. We ended up hitting some traffic on the way into Greenville, but that's okay. We got there at about 5 and the show floor closed at 7, so we were able to walk around for a little while. You guys saw the footage already, which was, you know, super fun. We didn't even get to probably even a third of the tables that were actually there. When you're going to a convention like this, going Friday is actually really nice because you can get a lot of really good stuff that would probably be gone if you got there about 2 hours into the Saturday morning, just because Saturday is usually the busiest day by far. Talking to my friend John, he had been talking to the people that run the show. They said that ticket sales were like up by 75% for Saturday over what they were last year. So I'm expecting it to be absolutely bonkers tomorrow. So we'll get around the show floor, and then obviously we'll do some hunting for some deals too on Sunday. But we were able to get a little bit of stuff, and you know, I kind of showed you guys all the different tables. One table that we stopped at relatively early had a whole bunch of just little odds and ends of a bunch of different things, NES and just Japanese stuff. You know, not a lot, but just some Japanese stuff, which, by the way, I noticed, as you know, opposed to previous years, there is so much more Japanese stuff on the show floor this year. Like, usually it's like 1 or 2 booths that have Japanese stuff, but there's so much more Japanese stuff this year, which is really, really cool to see because, frankly, I've got most of the English stuff that I really want at this point, other than like some heavy hitter things. So anyways, to get to the pickups for today, first thing is actually the only American thing, or the only NTSC thing, and it's something I've been meaning to pick up for a while, and that's 1943. If you've never played this one, you may have played 1942. 1943 is a much better game than 1942. They're both fun shooters. I'm not going to say they're not. But this one is kind of takes everything 1942 did and really one-ups all of it, which is pretty great. And that was listed for $15. Remember that price for in a minute. And then I got a couple of Japanese things. We'll start with a Hue card. It's TurboGrafx 16 Hue card. This is for Dragon Spirit, which is one of my favorite shoot 'em ups on the TurboGrafx and actually on the NES as well. There's an NES port, but the TurboGrafx one is better. And it was only $10, which is pretty cool. I really love this game. This is one of my comfort games I just play because it's kind of just that perfect level of difficulty for a shooter, which is fun. They also had this Japanese copy of Box Adventure. And in all fairness, I think the American version of this is like, I want to say it's like a $30 game, something like that. It's not a lot. It's really not a lot. But this being $10 and being a platformer is a better deal for me. Because I'm trying to collect all of the different Bonk games. So I have everything on the TurboGrafx. I don't know if I will ever get the NES one because that is way too expensive unless I just happen to find it in a lot or something. But the Game Boy ones are a little bit more within my reach. So that's kind of why I got this. I love Bonk. Bonk is awesome. Also, interestingly enough, the soundtrack for this game on the GBA, or not GBA, the Game Boy, is actually a little bit different. It's actually a different soundtrack. Very good still, but different than the Bonk's Adventure that you may have played on the NES or TurboGrafx. And it's really cool. So there you go. The last one is this cute little Mappy right here. If you don't know Mappy, it's an arcade game. I don't know if you can see that right there, but you can see it's kind of like, you know, platform, single screen platformer kind of thing. And it's actually not single screen, it does scroll. But I got this, not because I have any particular love for Mappy, really. I mean, I like it, but it's not like my favorite thing ever. But because this is a really cute little Famicom game box, and you don't see them in this good a shape all that often. The ones that are like really colorful and really nice like this, at least not in the United States. A lot of times you can get some Famicom boxes, maybe. There were some Famicom games on the show floor today, but you usually find if the boxes are there, they're either for like random mahjong, I think I'm pronouncing it right, random mahjong games or whatever, and there's a box for it, or there's something like this that is cool artwork, but it is totally beat up and bent and creased and everything else. This is a really, really nice condition box. I actually probably will get a little plastic protector for this one just to keep it nice. So really appreciate Japanese box art because honestly, Japanese box art for this era of gaming is usually better than ours. And that is kind of that one. I think there's somebody sneaking up behind me that wants to show you what he got. And that is a Tatsugiri, right? I said that right?
Yes.
Tatsugiri Pokemon, which was pretty fun. He was very excited about that one. Oh, and throw me the other thing over there too. And then on the way out, we also found something we've been meaning to pick up, which is Yoshi and the Enchanted, in the Mysterious Book. Reason why I got this one is because it was on sale for $60. This is a $70 game. So $60 cash, so that means $10 off and no tax, and that was a pretty good deal. So this is the thing that he was most excited about. Apparently there's a Kirby-based enemy in this game, which I think this was in Yoshi's Island as well, so I don't think that's a new game or a new enemy. But hey, he's really excited about it because Kirby's like his favorite thing. So there you go. This is one of the things you want to know if you've never been to a convention before, if you want to go to one of these things. If you go to a table and you find several things at that table that you want, most vendors, and I would say all, but I'm sure there's a exception somewhere, but vendors will often bundle things for less money if you're buying multiple things. So for instance, each of these three things were $10 each, and you can see I'm covering up the $10, so $10 each, and this 1943 was $15, and $15 is kind of the going price for 1943. Like that's not a bad price, and these were all roughly within market value. That TurboGrafx game goes for a little bit more usually. A boxed Famicom game like that usually would go for just a little bit more, at least stateside it would. But pretty fair prices all around. But because I was getting all four things, I said, hey, can you do all four of these for $40? So basically I get each of these things for $10. It wasn't a huge savings, but when you're on a show floor, there's a zillion things. a little bit here and there, it adds up over time. And speaking of adding up over time, I went by another table. It was one of the kind of ones that are along the edges, kind of just, you know, kind of set off in the corner. Most of the time, these are tables that have less selection or just really random selections. So they could have like 2 NES games, 25 PS5 games, and then, you know, like 3 TurboGrafx games, and that's pretty much all of their stuff, and like 1 random broken GameCube. Like, that's what we're talking about here. It's a table of stuff that they probably just pulled off of yard sales, and they happen to have a table here in the corner, and they're just selling stuff. That's where I got my Wario Land for Virtual Boy, you know, a couple years ago, and, you know, that's where I got my Gunsmoke last year for the NES. And you can find some really good deals at these tables because it's just a total crapshoot what you're going to find. This one, I found a couple of things that I'd actually been looking for, and for really cheap. First of all was Pinball Quest. If you didn't know, there's a pinball RPG on the NES. Now, I say pinball RPG, this is not like a 20-hour game, but it's more like a pinball game with RPG elements, which is pretty cool. It's not like top tier, like S tier game, but I would say this is like a B tier game. Definitely fun, and if you know what you're getting into, definitely worth checking out. Definitely recommend it, and for $5, that's actually a pretty good price. And you know me, I love my ugly games, so this is a bonus. This was Prescott's copy of Pinball Quest, which I thought was super cool and super fun. The other one that I got was one that actually my friend Jay from over at Square Pegs, he did a video on this one, I want to say like over 2 years ago, and I've been searching for it ever since, figuring that I would pick it up on the cheap somewhere at some kind of convention like this, and I found it, and that is the Mighty Thor, no, not the Mighty Thor, Thor God of Thunder, for the DS. And this one, it says Sega on there, which is kind of funny that Sega did a Marvel game, but actually it was developed by WayForward, who are the people that did, they do the Shantae games, they did the DuckTales remaster, and a zillion other games. Like, every game that they do is absolute fire. I don't know that they make bad games. So them doing a licensed title, I'm really excited to try this out because my friend Jay, again, speaks very highly of it, and it was only $5. Now you'll see this is $5, this is $5. I had $8 in my pocket. I had a 5 and 3 ones, and so I just pulled it out and was like, hey, I have $8 cash here. Would you just do both of these for $8? And they were totally fine with it. And that's kind of how that went. So currently we're at $7 off of marked sticker prices total for this convention. We're going to try to do a little bit more of that tomorrow. So we'll probably get there around 10:30, and we'll hang out there until around 5. Really get around the show floor and see what we got. They have tons of stuff going on. There is like a whole VR section set up. They have a bunch of indie developers there doing indie games. They do that every year. Lots of panels. They had wrestling this evening at the thing, which I didn't know about, otherwise I would have gone and gotten footage of. But there's a ton of stuff going on, so it's going to be an absolutely fantastic day. But for now, we are going to go ahead and go get some sleep, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Hey there, folks. Future John here at the end of actually day 2 of Siege. I realized when I woke up this morning that I actually forgot to talk about anything that we got from McKay's. We actually did get some stuff there, specifically Toys to Life stuff. So I don't know if you're aware, but Toys to Life stuff is getting a little bit harder to find, yet also still incredibly cheap. And places like McKay's are amazing to get that kind of stuff at, because they just have massive bins of like Disney Infinity and Skylanders that did at one point cost a lot of money, now is super cheap. We found out that we went to McKay's and I got a couple of things. I got some Starlink ships. So some of you guys may remember Starlink. It was kind of Star Fox-esque. It was an Ubisoft title, and they just had these like grab bags of like Starlink stuff. I think I showed the Star Fox ship in the footage, but I've already got that one, so I didn't need that one, and I left that for somebody else. But basically you would put these little adapters on the controller, and it's totally a Toys to Life thing. There's little pilots in there with little guns that you can literally take off of the ship. And actually, what am I doing? I'll just open this up. So this little thing goes on the controller. You stick your pilot in here, just like that. and you can see it's got that little cartridge slot right there, or cartridge PCB connector, and he goes in there, and then the ship just comes down straight on top and kind of locks in like that, and now you can actually see the pilot in there, and you can change pilots. This other bag has a couple more pilots in it, and it's just they're these really stinking cool ship systems that they have. And then you have different weapons, so like this has 2 guns and they all have elements, so like this one's fire, this one is something else, I don't remember. But let's say I want to change weapons in the game, all I have to do is pop that weapon off right there, grab this other one right here, pop it on, and now it's going to show up as another weapon in the game. Really, really cool. Probably one of the coolest, if not the coolest, implementation of Toys to Life I ever saw when that was a craze. I really wish this had caught on. I really wish this had done better. I think if it had come out a little bit earlier in the Toys to Life thing, I think it would have done a lot better, but everybody was kind of already burnt out by the fact that Amiibo didn't do anything by this point. But very, very cool, and they look really cool on a shelf as well. So these packages of grab bags were $12.95 each. Usually the ships costs, around $20 if you were to buy them online, plus all the different weapons and stuff like that came with them, and the pilots. It was a really good deal, and I was really, really happy with that. The other thing we got is Disney Infinity figures. We've been getting into Disney Infinity stuff as a family, and there's been a few that we've been looking for. We haven't really gone crazy with it or anything, but my kids like Star Wars. We like a bunch of the different Disney stuff. So we got Elsa for my daughter. We got Yoda for my youngest. He's 8, and then he wants to show you
Perry the Platypus.
He got Perry the Platypus because you got to have Agent P. I mean, that's how that goes. But the cool thing is we went up to the register and these rang up for $1.45 each, which is like way cheaper than I've seen them anywhere else. And it was just a flat $1.45. It doesn't matter how rare they were. It didn't matter whatever. It was just loose Disney Infinity characters, $1.45. So I did what anybody would do in my situation and went and got a massive bag of Disney Infinity figures. So I'm not going to go through all of these for you guys, but I mean, we have everything from Stitch here to Venom to, let's see, what else? Joy from Inside Out. Nemo, that's actually pretty cool because it's got the coral reef and stuff on it. Literally probably 30 of these things in here. And we pretty much just filled out our entire Disney Infinity collection, and we're going to go home, and we're going to have a heck of a good time, because we have all of these different things, and it's going to be amazing. We've just been really enjoying the Toys to Life thing lately, and that's been a lot of fun for having kids, having them be able to experience that stuff like I did, and it's been a lot of fun. So that was our pickups from McKay's. I don't think we got anything else. It's mainly just the Toys to Life stuff, but again, McKay's, highly recommend it. And yeah, now we'll go back to doing this thing in order. So there you go. All right, so here we are, day 2. We haven't made it to the convention center yet. We are going to stop real quick at one of my favorite things to do when I'm down here in Greenville, South Carolina, and that is stop at Scooter's Coffee. Now, if you've never heard of Scooter's Coffee, it wouldn't surprise me. This is a local chain, but if you've ever been to like a 7 Brew or something, it's one of the drive-through coffee places, but it's like a zillion times better than something like 7 Brew. So if you stop here in Greenville, highly recommended. We're going to stop here, get something, and then we'll head to the show floor. So here we go. All right, here we are, day 2. Starting out the Japanese representation again, very strong. This booth had a ton of Japanese stuff, which was super cool to see. Lots of really good games and really pretty good prices. That's Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse for $10. That you don't need to read Japanese to see that, and it's a great deal. This is Kuru Kuru Kurukin. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that right. It's a Japanese exclusive puzzle game, which is pretty cool. I think it actually released on the Nintendo Online service recently. I very nearly picked up that box Donkey Kong Land right there, but this little Hello Kitty game I thought was cute, and the box was in really good shape. My daughter loves Hello Kitty, and I just thought this would be a fun little pickup for her, so I went ahead and tried to bargain for this one a little bit later. You see you've got a boxed Kirby Superstar there, which I love the wood grain look on this game. It's just super cool, lets the game colors and everything pop really, really well. Again, Super Famicom box art is phenomenal, and I love collecting Super Famicom stuff, and that Mario RPG, pretty cool too. Yokai Watch. I just wanted to say, Yokai Watch was like $5 at Five Below for the longest time, and now it's super expensive. But overall, 3DS games, I was actually pretty pleased. The prices have actually come down a little bit lately. Got some Blockbuster exclusives there. You know, I'm always gonna point out the Blockbuster exclusives. And then I found this this power base converter, which kind of ended up setting me on a little bit of a quest for the rest of the show. But you don't see power base converters very often, and most of the time they're north of $100, and this one is for $75. This little kind of table was just out of the way. I think it was just a bunch of stuff that a guy picked up at a yard sale, and he just came and was selling it because it was a total hodgepodge of things. But really cool to see a power base converter, because you don't see them very often, especially not that cheap. This was cool. It's like I want to say it's like a Halo Reach or something, some kind of special edition thing. You had a beat up Ori in the Blind Forest special edition. Had some Japanese N64 games. I probably should have picked up a couple of those. But also, I found a special edition of The Last Story. I very nearly walked away with this, but it wasn't complete. If you've never played The Last Story on the Wii, it's by XSEED. That's the same company that published Xenoblade Chronicles first. Fantastic game, probably one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Dot Hack Quarantine. Used to be a huge fan of the Dot Hack series. Those are super expensive if you've never seen them. And then I always try to take the time to dig through the just kind of loose Game Boy games and things like that. There's a few that I'm looking for. You see I picked up Fantastic Four right there. That's actually not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for Fantastic Four Flame On. After my friend Jay over at Square Pegs reviewed it from a Video Games Monthly box, and you know, spoke pretty highly of it. I kind of been on the lookout for it. It's a cheap game, but you know, I want to get it live in person if I can, and I always look through, you know, for that and a few other Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. But yeah, you never would know what you find. You know, one time I found a TurboGrafx game in a bin like this, so always worth a look, and that's part of the fun of going to a convention like this. There's also some Animal Crossing cards. You don't see these very much anymore. You used to be able to get them for pretty cheap back kind of before Animal Crossing New Horizons came out. But now they're remarkably expensive for a lot of them. Also, this was a box of just common NES games that was under a table. Always pull these out. You never know what you're going to find. And then this one, there's a bunch of Master System games at this this convention, which was pretty cool. Usually you don't see this many Master System games in one place, but they were all here and they were all in pretty good shape. You see several of those tags say like $10, $20 on them. That's pretty cheap for Master System stuff, especially with those cases. They also had a bunch of loose ones, and I found one of my favorites here, Wonder Boy. I'm a huge Wonder Boy / Adventure Island fan. I've got an arcade unit. It's one of my favorite series of all time. I don't know if you know, there's a Fantasy Zone based Pac-Man clone. I thought this Rampage was cool because one, Rampage is awesome, and two, they actually put the logo for the game on the label, which is really rare for Master System. And you know, R-Tape is an amazing game. Just so much stuff here. And then I also found they had Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap, and Wonder Boy in Monsterland, you can see right there as well. And with those two, I kind of made a decision that I'll talk more about a little bit later, but I'm just gonna shut up right now and let you guys listen to what happened next.
This is an Ugly Games purchase. See that? Would you do 60 for all these, or for these three, since that one's kind of mangled?
Yeah, I know we priced some based on that. Let me take a look for you. I can do 63.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
And you know, I'm always going to point out Sacred Out on Roll, one of my favorite NES games, my first NES game, and still one of my favorites. This is something that I really wanted to point out. Very cool. This guy had canvas prints and had magnets on the back of them so that you can actually like move it around. Like, so this is like an interactive Oregon Trail canvas print, which is super, super cool. In the back, they also had this really cool table set up with all these like custom Star Wars droids. I went ahead and got some footage of this just because it was so cool. And then my youngest is just an absolutely massive Star Wars fan. So you got the little mouse droid there. You've got a Gonk droid that somebody built. And then two, I love this, the battle droids, Roger Rogers, if anybody's ever watched those shorts. My family loves those. And then the prototype and rare stuff cabinet, that's a Ninja Gaiden prototype. And hey, if you need a stadium event, it's only $22,000. So, you know, cheap. Also, Bill Cipher, had to show him, but this cool site that had these neon signs and these custom Game Boys and stuff, it was a cool place to stop. There's my son. He was on a hunt for the first Yokai Watch on this trip, and he went and haggled for it, which is cool. I think they had $20 on it. It's actually the one that I showed earlier. He was able to get him down to 15 on it, which was pretty fun, and that was like literally his favorite thing he picked up at this whole convention, I think, and he has been playing it constantly ever since. I really wish I had gotten those games when they were $5 at Five Below. You had some other stuff here. So I want to give a little bit of a warning here. So sometimes you go to conventions and you'll see a booth that has a bunch of Japanese stuff or stuff that's hard to find, and it's also all in plastic wrap. I always tell people, be wary of plastic wrap, because a lot of times those things have been on the shelf for a long time, and a lot of times the prices are really inflated. So just something to be aware of if you go to a convention like this. You know, the games, the systems, they're all in plastic wrap. And again, a lot of times, not always, but sometimes that is a pretty good sign that the prices are going to be inflated, and you may be able to find a better deal somewhere else. With that, we took a break from the show floor and headed over to another area where they were showing off some indie games. So let's check that one out.
All right, folks, taking a quick time out. We are at the indie showcase part of SEGE, which is one of the coolest parts of the entire event. You have a bunch of people that are basically here showing off the games that they are developing. And this is something that I think they did for the first time 2 years ago when I was and I actually got to judge, but I think there were only like 3 or 4 indie games at the time. If you look around right now, you can see this is all this entire event. So there's probably maybe 25 different indie games here, 25 different indie games that are all being shown off, which is just super cool to see. And honestly, a lot of them are really, really good. So here's some highlights from it, but it's something that I definitely wanted to point out because this is one of the coolest parts of the entire event.
So this is the first one we played. This one was called Barn Brawl. It was kind of like a battle royale farming sim. Kind of hard to explain, but honestly a lot of fun. Kind of a low poly look, but we really enjoyed playing this one, and they were actually giving out pins for the winner of each game. It's basically a multiplayer game. You have this tournament fighter one, which was really cool. I don't know if I actually got the name of this one, but it's basically a samurai fighting game. This one called Durga, which I didn't get a chance to play it much, but it's actually really pretty. So I would definitely go check that one out again later. This one was called The Forbidden Forest, and you're playing as a cute bear trying to get through this forest and survive, which I just thought was cute and fun. So there's the QR code if you want to go check it out. And right down there is the bear. Next, you had Hover Drive. This one was actually here 2 years ago when I judged for this competition, and I really liked it as a speedrunner. Just the controls are really tight. It was really a lot of fun. Definitely check this one out if you haven't before, because it's just a fun kind of arcadey racing game. This was Mad Jack vs. Magic. All right, so this one I think was my favorite one. It's kind of a roguelike deck builder where you do some exploration, but the actual battle system is a deck builder with the kind of system, kind of like an Undertale, where when the enemy attacks, it's not just you getting attacked and it's telling you, how much damage you lost or whatever. There's actually a little mini game that pops up that you have to do when the enemy has their turn, and you've actually got to play, a little bit of kind of almost like a Zelda-like on each battle whenever the enemy attacks, which is pretty fun. I really like this one. I would highly recommend checking it out on Steam. I don't know how close it is to coming out, but it was great. This was another really cool one, which I wasn't really able to play, but it was a lot of fun to look at. It was a really pretty game. Rail Shot is, this one kind of reminded me a little bit of Sunset Riders, but not quite. It was a fun cowboy game, and it looks like it's kind of like a precision aiming game. Again, I didn't get a chance to play this one. There was a bunch of other people playing it, but it looks a lot like it was going to be a lot of fun. Project Berserk, this is kind of a one-on-one fighter with like highly pixelated graphics, but like the pixelated graphics are like huge. The sprites are massive, which I thought was really cool looking. This one was fun. It kind of looked like Phantasy Star to me, but hand-drawn. This was a really cool shooter, and I really like this one. You can like multiply your plane and It was fun because I think the demo, they just had infinite lives on, so you could just kind of play it until you beat it, which was a lot of fun. But I really liked that one. It was good. They also had some card games there. You know, you can find just about any kind of gaming at Siege. There was a tournament, I think, the earlier day, but there wasn't anything going on when we were there. There's a sign for Raleigh Gaming Geek. Gonna be there next month, so go check that out. The VR Zone, again, they have free VR there, which, you know, my son loves. I'm old and can't do VR, really, without getting dizzy, but that's fun. Also, arcade stuff, so this is, and they kind of had it parted out by genre, so you have, like, Power Stone right there. You had some arcade puzzle games, and then they also had a section that was just rhythm games, which was pretty fun. There's a lot of rhythm games there that I've never seen, I didn't even know existed, so that was a lot of fun to see. There's some virtual on cabinets. My son and I had a ton of fun there, and then we wrapped it up and just kind of headed back onto the hotel because it had been a long day. And we are back at the hotel after the end of day 2. You can tell my voice is a little bit tired. It's been a lot of talking and walking and all kinds of stuff today, but I gotta say, Siege never disappoints. Saw some really cool stuff today. Obviously, there are tons of vendors, again, tons of really cool stuff. But one of my favorite things, I think, was the indie game corner. When I was here 2 years ago, I was one of the judges for the indie game competition, and there were only, I want to say, like, maybe 5 games in that competition. This year, there was, like, 25 games on display, and most of them were actually really good. There was one called Magic vs. Magic, which was kind of like a card battler, pixel RPG roguelike kind of thing. I'm probably selling this terribly, but you can see the footage on the screen now. But a fantastic game, like really cool. Very much looking forward to that. Definitely put it on your wish list. There was this really great shooter, and I'm blanking on the name right now. I'll put it up on the screen. But this really great shooter. It kind of reminded me of like 1943 a little bit. Maybe with a little bit of like Silkworm, if you're familiar with that on the NES. Caro Caro Cowboy, which was a little platform about a frog cowboy, which was just a ton of fun. I mean, me and my son spent over an hour just there playing all the demos and things. There was also a panel that we got to go to about how to make a game in Unreal Engine, and then he kind of did a panel where he walked everybody through kind of what he did and what his process was and everything, which was just super cool to see. We did the VR, we did the arcade. If you go to Siege, just be prepared to be there all day and be very busy the entire time. It is an exhausting experience, but exhausting in the best possible way. But all that said, let's get to the pickups, because I know that that's what a lot of people are interested in as well. I think I did pretty good here. It was a bunch of a little bit bigger ticket items than I usually go for. I know a lot of times I do a lot of $5, $10 NES games, Game Boy games, those sorts of things. We kind of did some of that like that yesterday, and we might do a little bit of that tomorrow. You know, it'll be Sunday, and so we'll probably try to haggle a little bit to see if we can get some good deals just, on the last day of the convention. But to start out, since we had a boxed Famicom game yesterday, I figured let's keep that train rolling. So we actually have a boxed and sealed Famicom game this time. This is a Hello Kitty game. I could not tell you what this says. I think the really cool thing about this is that, again, it's a boxed Famicom game, which you don't see very often, and it's sealed. Now, is this the original seal from the store? I have no clue. It could have been resealed later on. But it's in pretty good shape, so I would believe it if it was. But either way, it says $20 right there. I didn't pay $20 because I actually bundled it with something else that I had been looking for and was on my get list for Siege. Last year I started collecting Japanese N64 games because the artwork on them is just beautiful. And then they make great display pieces and everything. And the one that I really wanted from the very beginning, and the one that kind of set me on the whole quest to get it, was actually Smash Brothers on the N64 because of this like amazing comic book look to it, and this game is only appreciating in value. This one is in really good shape as well. You have this manual, and I just want to show a couple of the pages here. I'm not going to go through the whole manual, but the reason why you collect Japanese N64 games is because their artwork, and Super Nintendo ones too, is their artwork is phenomenal. Like here you've got Mario and you've got Donkey Kong. They actually drew them in the same pose as the move. So like here's Mario, and there's the jump move that it's illustrating. Here's Donkey Kong, and here's the ground pound move that it's illustrating. And another really cool Easter egg that I noticed even just a few minutes ago, you've got like Kirby doing the cutter just like he does the cutter here. You have Link spinning just like he does the spin here. But then you actually have the secret characters peeking through from the back right here. So like here's Nessa's silhouette, which I just think is super cool that they were hinting that the secret characters were there before, you know, you would even have a chance to unlock them, before you even really start playing the game. I think that's just a ton of fun. And then there's what the actual cartridge looks like itself. Just a really fun artwork. And I love these plastic cases, these plastic trays that Japanese N64 games come in. It just feels much more durable than the Whoa, that was a terrible sound. Much more durable than the cardboard ones that we, you know, get in America. Now this one was listed for $45, and this one was listed for $20, which is fine. It's not, you know, the end of the world. I talked them down to $55 for both because, you know, $45 is going rate for this game. That's not really anything off, but again, since this is something that I came specifically looking for, I was okay paying full market rate for it. That made total sense. And then this one, it's hard to find value for you know, a boxed Famicom game that's not like one of the big ones. This little Hello Kitty game is just a puzzle game. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's actually probably playable even in Japanese, which is great. We love seeing that. Hard to ascertain value. So even though it says 20 on it, I asked if we could just bundle both of these for $55. So basically, this is market value and this is $10, which I think that is the right price for something like this. So next we have a couple things that I got for my kids. We have this Galarian Ponyta that my son actually saw for my daughter because she loves Galarian Ponyta. That's like one of the Mega Constructs things. It's not Lego, it's the specifically not Lego thing, but that's it. And then he also got a couple of things. He's very excited to show you this gigantic Kirby. Like, this thing is basically a pillow. And now I have to find somewhere for it in my house. It's going to be great. The other thing that he got is actually one of the, hands down, no joke, one of the coolest things that I saw at the entire thing. So this is a canvas print, but what this guy did is he combined canvas prints and custom magnets, so you can actually move the magnets around in there. And we saw this originally because he had one on display that was Oregon Trail, and the wagon was the magnet. But then we saw the Kirby's Adventure one, and him being a massive Kirby fan, we kind of had to have the thing. So I've got the QR code up on the screen right now. Make sure you go check him out, because I'm serious, this is super high quality and just so much fun. So much fun to have something like this hanging on your wall. And the last things I got are kind of all interrelated with each other. Some of you guys may remember yesterday's video. There was one of the little tables, actually one of the earlier ones that we saw, that had a power base converter on the table. And I kind of picked it up, I kind of looked at it and put it back down, thinking, yeah, you know, I'll see if it's still around tomorrow once I see what everything else is, because I hadn't seen much of the show yet at that point. Well, I went back by that table this morning, and yes, it was still there. So you can probably guess that I picked it up. So this is a power base converter. For those that don't know what this is, this basically turns your Genesis into a Master System, which is pretty cool. I have a bunch of Master System games. I have an analog SG, right? That's the Sega one, and the adapter for those, but I don't have a way to play the original cartridges on original hardware, and this is one of those things that I just think looks super stinking cool, and I had always wanted anyway. You can see this is for a Genesis Model 1. It's got the divot for like the bubble where it has the word Genesis printed. So this is for a Genesis Model 1, and this basically has an entire Master System, all the Master System hardware you need really to run those games inside it. You can see it's $75 here, which is already a fantastic price for this. This goes for $100 on a good day, and most times it's $125 and north of that. So this was already a good deal. Knowing that there's not a lot that can go wrong with these, I felt pretty safe getting it, and I'm super excited to get home and try it out. And I will put footage of games on in this video if it does indeed work. But yeah, so basically you can stick your Master System cartridge in there. It also accepts Sega cards, has a Sega card slot, so it really is like having a Master System, which is really, really cool. Obviously $75 is what was on it. I actually asked him if he would go to $70, and he did, because I had cash. Always carry cash. Always, always, always carry cash at a convention. You will get much better deals, and people will be much more willing to haggle with you, because they don't have to pay that credit card fee if you run it via credit card, whatever processing service they're using. So Master System, or Power Base Converter for my Genesis, so we can play Master System games. But you know what? We kind of need some Master System games to try. So there was another table that had a bunch of Master System games that were actually really, really well priced. Probably about 60% of the price of all the other Master System games on the show floor. And I think that's just because the guy had like boxes of them, like he had a lot. So he didn't really feel the need to price them super high. Well, I was going through them and thinking I'll just get something small, like a $10 game, and then I saw this one. And for anybody that knows me, I'm a huge fan of the Adventure Island / Wonder Boy. This is the original Wonder Boy, which is super cool. Some of you guys may know this as Adventure Island. This is the very first Adventure Island game, exact same game, just different graphics, and on the Master System. And then I also saw Wonder Boy in Monsterland. They had that one as well. Oh, and I should say, Wonder Boy was 22. Wonder Boy in Monsterland was 20. Okay? And then they also had Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap. Now, I have avoided getting this set because I knew that if I got one of them, I would want to get the other ones that are on the Master System as well. I've avoided that up until this point. But seeing that this was 20, or this was 22, this was 20, and this one is 30. That's a low price for this game already, and also it's got a ripped up, mangled up label, and you guys know I don't mind ugly games. So I thought I would go and see if I could work a deal. So what I asked is to get all three for 60. Okay, so list price on these would have been about 75. I asked if he would do 60. He came down 63, and now I have the Wonder Boy set on the Master System, which was something on my long-term get list that I kind of figured I might never get, which is super, super exciting to me. So I'm super happy about it. And you know what? I haven't actually put anything in this Power Base Converter yet. So I figure, you know what? Let's do it on the video, and I can show you how that's supposed to go in. And there you go. So that's it. That's how it's supposed to go. You have Wonder Boy on a Power Base Converter, and it's a beautiful thing. But I ran into something on my way out, which was also super cool. Not gaming related, but super cool. So I want to spotlight a vendor that I saw called Jabba's Toy Palace. They have a website. You can look it up, and you should look it up, because this is their Padawan saber, which I am so incredibly impressed with. This is a metal shell. When you hit it, it actually does the sounds and does the lights and everything. You can change the saber color. This is an incredible find for me, because he loves Star Wars more than anything else, and he wants a lightsaber so bad, and I just didn't feel comfortable getting him one that would cost a lot of money. But not only did this not cost a lot of money, I feel like this thing is going to last for forever. This thing, it really, really is very, very, very durable. And it's also got a rechargeable battery via USB-C. I really have no complaints about this thing. It's really, really stinking cool. And that'll about do it for my pickups for today. We still have one more day on the show for tomorrow morning, which should be a ton of fun. So I'm going to go get some sleep, and we will see you guys in the long line waiting to get in the morning. Hey there, folks, it's Sunday. This is the last day of Siege. You can see there's already a line outside the door. If you want to come really to get in right when the doors open, you're going to have to come. You're going to have to stand in line unless you pay for the VIP pass, which I highly recommend, but I didn't do that this year just because I didn't really feel the need to. But you get a t-shirt and all kinds of other stuff when you do the VIP pass. But otherwise, you just stand in line, wait for the doors to open. It is about 9:20 right now, so we got about 40 minutes left, and then the doors will open, and we'll get in there, and we'll see what we get. So here we go. All right, here we are. Last day at Southeast Game Exchange. This is the entrance. I know I didn't show it before, so I just figured I'd show us walking up the steps. We went and we actually stood in line this time. When you get there early and you don't have a VIP pass, a lot of times you got to stand in line. But, you know, sometimes it's worth it because there's a bunch of deals where people are trying to clear stuff out for the rest of the day. Looney Tunes B-Ball, great game, not worth the price. Was a childhood favorite, though. Little Ninja Brothers, again, great game, probably not worth the price. It's kind of like if you ever play Kung Fu Heroes, it's that, but an RPG. Ended up finding a lot of Lolo at the convention this year. I'm not sure why. But these are some boxed in 64 games. I wasn't really super interested in these. I was just kind of checking on prices. Adventure Island, I would love to have the box for this. I have the game, I have the manual, I have everything else, and I have the other two boxed as well. But, you know, I always check to see. Duck Amuck is a phenomenal DS game. Super, super fun if you've never played it. It's based on the old cartoon. Again, just kind of rooting through bins full of loose Game Boy games and DS games and that kind of stuff. We actually got Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2 last time we were here. I thought this was fun. Dragon Power was actually Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball, excuse me. It was changed when it came to the US. Some other cool art pieces here. I thought that Mario was pretty cool with the 3D blocks. This was cool. I thought it was just awesome to see a music box that actually plays Aerith's theme from Final Fantasy VII. Yokai Watch 2, Psychic Specters, $230. Again, cannot believe Yokai Watch is that expensive. Some rare stuff you see again at a convention like Chiller. This is a banned game, I'm pretty sure, for very good reasons if you ever look up a video on it. Tomodachi Life, always expensive, even though the new one just came out. Here's a Wonder Boy. I just really like that front box art. That's kind of why I pulled it out to show it, just because I thought it was a lot of fun. That Donkey Kong Land, I did show you guys that earlier. And then just looking through some 3DS stuff, because again, 3DS stuff seems to have come down in price for the most part lately. You can get some really good stuff. Now, Mario and Luigi, that usually stays up there pretty high. You know, Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, very cheap game. Planet Robobot used to be way more than $60, so good signs. I like that games are coming down. I did want to point this one out, though, because this is really cool. This guy sells basically miniaturized versions of boxes that are the size of cartridges. Which was really cool to me. If you've got a bunch of loose games and you want to protect them and you want them to look good on a shelf and they're not just cartridges, I thought was really, really cool. He actually has a company that he just sells just the boxes. There it is right there, miniboxgaming.com. I'm planning on actually ordering a few of those from him myself because they were super cool, super high quality. Again, more 3DS stuff just to kind of show what the prices are. Hey, if you've never played Ikaruga, definitely play Ikaruga. It's a great shooter. Toki is one of my childhood favorites. I love this game. I can't believe it's that expensive. It used to be super cheap. And then again, you come on the last day because people are trying to clear stuff out. Everything's 15% off at this booth, including consoles and everything. They're pretty expensive though. And this was actually the booth that I saw the power base converter at the day before, and he had a Rob today. So he must have hit up the yard sales or something and brought some new stock that day. I've already got a Rob, so I left it for somebody else. R-Type Final 2, I only point this out because I feel like a lot of people overlook that game, and I honestly really, really like it. I thought this Hello Kitty DS was super cute. My daughter loves Hello Kitty, and again, she doesn't need a DS, but you know, I just thought it was fun to look at and got footage so I could show her. This is that box of Famicom games that were all $5 that I showed from the day before. You can see that it's been cleaned out a little bit. But I was still tempted by some of it, and this is one of those things where I kind of looked and scoped out what I was going to try to make deals on a little bit later. Another Tomodachi Life, $100 this time for a loose copy. Crazy. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. This is a terrible, 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 extremely expensive game. This one was in really rough shape, and I almost asked what the price was, but I already knew that it was going to be north of $100 for a game that I really don't care about, and so I just kind of left it. Box Adventure, $900 if you want the NES Box Adventure. King Neptune's Adventure, you know what? Nobody knows that game, so I thought I'd show it. Power Blade, can't go wrong with Power Blade, but 90 bucks is expensive. I thought this was really cool, this Turtles in Time Super Famicom game, and I was expecting it to be cheap because most Super Famicom games are cheap compared to their American counterparts. Not this one though. This one was $230, a little expensive. Krista's Ring, I'm always going to point that one out when I see it. I love that game, and nobody talks about it ever. And then I was at one of the back tables and I found Fantastic Four, Flame On. I've been looking for this one for literal years, as I said earlier in the video, and I finally found it. So super happy about that. I thought this was cool. Somebody was buying a boxed copy of Zen Intergalactic Ninja. Very expensive game, very good game actually on the NES, but very, very expensive game, and you just don't see it boxed very often. But this is the final deal I did of the day, so I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let you guys see what happened.
but we really glad for it.
Would you do 4 of these for 15?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I didn't want to take the sign and pass.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Yep, you too. All right, and we are finished with Siege and about to start the long ride home to Virginia to get back. It has been an amazing weekend. Again, if you've never been to Southeast Game Exchange, definitely come. I'm going to do my wrap up in my actual game room at home because it is super hot and I am super tired. So I'll see you guys there.
All right, folks, so we are back in my office at home. It's actually been a couple days since we got back from Siege. When we got back, I was just super tired because it was such a busy weekend. If you've ever been to a video game convention, or if you've never been to a video game convention, there's all kinds of sensory stimulation with all the things going on, so I was just exhausted when I got back, and I had to wait a couple of days to kind of recover before I wanted to do this video. But just to wrap up our last day and what we got there, obviously on the last day you look for deals, you look for things that are on sale because people are just trying to clear out their tables and get everything gone so that they can leave. Sunday is the time to go and look at the tables around the edges of the convention hall, because even though a lot of the stuff in the middle where most of the people were walking was kind of picked over, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff there. The tables along the back wall, which actually I think this is the first time there were that many tables back there. Last year I don't remember there being that many, but the tables along the back wall still had a lot of really interesting, really good stuff. Speaking of back tables, I showed it in the footage, I'll show it again here, but I found Fantastic Four Flame On, which is one of the games that I've been looking for a while, and it wasn't one that I wanted to really pick up on eBay or something like that. I wanted to pick it up at a convention or somewhere where I could actually see it, and this is the first time I've actually been able to see it. This is not an expensive game. It's like a $10 game. They had it listed for $10.99 here, and I got it for $10 just because I asked if they would just do $10 even, so I didn't have to break, you know, one of my other $10 bills. And they were totally fine with it. It's not an expensive game, but this is another game that I believe was made by WayForward, if I'm not mistaken, and again, I heard about it from my friend Jay, the same one that I heard about the Thor game for, which, by the way, I played that quite a bit since I got it, and it's a really, really fun beat 'em up and super cheap if you can find it. The other thing that I was able to do is go by one of the booths that I saw that was kind of on the outskirts a little bit that I had seen in the days before. He had a bunch of Famicom games, a bunch of them in a box. Honestly, if I had had the money left, I probably would have just made him an offer on the entire box. But I didn't have the spare change at that point from buying the power base converter and all that other stuff. But he had a bunch of Famicom games, so he was selling them for $5 each. I got 4 of them and asked him if I could do 4 of them for $15, and he was totally fine with it. This leads me to one of my observations about Siege this year. There was so much more Japanese stuff than I've ever seen before, and you hear on YouTube and, you know, just from around the internet about how a lot of the Japanese stuff is leaving Japan because, you know, people are going over and they're buying it for cheap and then bringing it over to the States. This is the first year I've actually seen that, the results of that in action, and I think that is really true. Like, you hear about stuff sometimes and you're like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's true because there was so much Japanese stuff at Siege, and I would expect that number of Japanese things to increase, which is really a good thing for our market because, you know, a lot of these things we didn't get in the States, you know, when they were released. So I picked up 4 games that were not released in the States. The first one is called Flappy. I'll throw some footage up just so you can kind of see what we're looking at. Atlantis Nanazo, which is a Sunsoft game, which I've wanted to have a copy of anyway ever since I did my Journey to Silius video and my Gimmick video and my Euphoria video. I've kind of been trying to collect most of the Sunsoft stuff so that I can do like a massive Sunsoft history because it's a fascinating company, and this is one of the ones that I wanted to pick up for that, so glad to have it. And then we also have Penguin Wars and another one called Binary Land, which is a really interesting one where you control 2 different characters at the same time and they both have to solve puzzles together in order for each one of them to progress. It also stars penguins just like Penguin Wars does. But yeah, super fun. I've been looking out for this one for a while, and I wasn't really willing to pay a whole lot of money for it just because I don't know, you know, how much I will play it specifically, but I did want it for a video, so this was a good pickup too. And that's about it for my Siege pickups. Some other observations from this year. I think that Siege has grown a lot. They're a huge convention now. When I first started going, they were good. They were, mid-sized, but they're much bigger now. And there's all kinds of stuff there. There's all kinds of vendors there. There's all kinds of stuff you can find that, you wouldn't be able to find elsewhere. It's just a fantastic weekend and absolutely worth going. Another trend that I noticed too, I think that retro game prices, or at least some of the stuff, is the prices are actually coming down some. I think that's awesome, because then more people can buy stuff and play it, especially with everything going on with physical media and all the other stuff. So those are my observations about Siege this year, and just about the convention landscape. And I think it's a really good time to start going to video game conventions if you haven't. As far as the channel, what I've been doing lately, I know I haven't posted anything like 9 months. I've been working on several professional productions and things like that I've been trying to get done. I have a very big personal project that I've been working on that is a narrative movie. It's not a YouTube thing that we're getting really close on, and I'm really excited to share that when it happens. And then the other thing too is I've started a second channel. It's called The Storytelling of Things, and it's really where I talk about a lot of storytelling stuff. And it could be video game related, movie related, those sorts of things. So I'll link it down in the description below if you're interested in checking it out. And yeah, it's been a passion of mine for a long time, and I decided to start a channel about it and start talking about storytelling stuff. So that's what I've been up to lately, and I really appreciate you guys joining me for this. Again, this is a yearly thing. This is an annual thing that I will continue to do. As far as conventions go, I will be at the Michigan Retro Gaming Expo in the end of August, and then it's looking like I'll probably be at Raleigh Retro Gaming Geek in early September. So if you want to meet up, if that's something that you want to do, I'll be at both of those conventions, and yeah, keep an eye out, and maybe I'll see you there. So, but for now, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.